Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hi, Ella. Ella. Hi, Ella. I did not know you. I didn't know you. That's awesome.
Okay, come on in. Just choose a seat. That's awesome. Okay, done. Okay, what? Okay, come on in. The speaker is here, so choose a seat. Come on in. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just quickly go over this whilst you're all walking in, okay? So after we've listened, let's just get everyone in. Everyone look for your youth leader and just follow your youth leader so you can come in a little bit faster. So fast. Come on in. There are seats here as well. Right. Okay. If any of you right now, you've got the opportunity to go to the restroom, which are out there, and turn left. Okay. The restrooms are out there. Turn left. Okay, listen up, please. Hear ye, hear ye. Okay. Yep, absolutely, that's great. Okay, listen up, my friends. When you hear me on the microphone, please, can you just take it down just a little bit, okay? I'm going to have lots of announcements throughout the day. After you hear the speaker, you need to stay with your group, okay? Please stay with your youth group. Youth leaders, if you have other students that have not checked in, please go and see. Miss Anderson, just over there, okay, please. Sorry, had it spaced out there. And then you will. I haven't finished. Thank you. I have not finished. You're gonna love my voice by the end of this 3 days, okay? Anyway. So after we finish here, stay with your youth leader, and then you're going to make your way over to the grass area by the arena, okay? They know where that is, the grassy area, the Patriot green grass area over there, okay? For the Get to Know You games. Stay with your youth leaders, thank you. And when he's ready, Mr. Hymas, please. Chad, Hymas, right? Chad Hymas, we're going to give him a really big applause, right? Hand of applause when he's ready. Okay? Thank you.
Did we find out where everybody's coming from? Oh, I didn't get to hear it.
Filming today?
Dubai?
Yeah,
Who? Oh, I know who. Ray. No. Ray, yeah? Ray. Where is he? Where is he? Ray. Girl. Millie Ray. Oh, yeah. Well, I had the little one, the little Ray in Power Hour. What percentage is from our on-campus? Stand up if you're from the on-campus. Really curious to see this. Okay, so there you know. So now you're going to get to meet some of our students from off-campus. Isn't this great? You get to meet each other. What about Dr. Pablo's AHS middle and high school program last year? Live classes every day. Stand up, tall. Yes. Oh, yes, familiar faces. There we go. Very good. Okay. Oh, swim. Michael. Hi, Michael. And let's see, Power Hour middle, elementary. No, we wouldn't be here, right? Yeah, stand up if you're Power Hour elementary. Caught you. You were. Now you've grown up, Jacoby. Okay, middle school Power Hour classes. I have a feeling this is the largest contingency. It's about the same as the on-campus. This light keeps getting stuck in my eye. Cora. No, Ariana. I tried to do it without. There's Cora. Hi, Cora. Cora has always so many great comments. And Duncan. Where's Duncan? There's Duncan. Middle school. Awesome. This is going to be really exciting. I hope you guys are excited for this. Everybody excited for this week? Yeah? It's going to be a great. You guys are extra special. You should know that we turned away at least 50, close to 100 people that we couldn't fit in this year's retreat. So you're here, you made it. Super excited. Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to Grant. He's going to introduce our speaker for this morning. Grant is the, I should say Mr. Beckwith. Sorry, Grant. It's a casual group. Mr. Beckwith is the head of school here for the last 15, maybe 16 years. And he's going to introduce our speaker and maybe share a couple thoughts as well. Grant. Big round of applause.
Thank you. Well, it's great to see so many of you, and many of you I know and love, and it's wonderful to have you back. My name is Grant Beckwith, and it's a pleasure to introduce Chad Hymas this morning. Chad, thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. We know that you've got a lot of engagements, a lot of irons in the fire, and for you to be here with us this morning means a lot. I'll tell you just briefly about Chad in a minute here, but one of the reasons that we asked Chad if he would come is because this is a time for all of us, not just for teenagers, for you, where it feels like there's so much that's difficult and heavy happening in the world, doesn't it? You know, the coronavirus pandemic has been going on now for almost 2 years, and we have, lots of reports about violence around the world, and the surface temperature of the earth is rising, and oh my goodness. Dealing with life's reversals and heaviness is just something that's all part of becoming resilient human beings, right? And of course, Jesus Christ has taught us how to handle trial. He gave us opposition as part of this plan, right? Well, Chad Hymas is someone who can really help us to understand how to learn to love the hard things in life. When we learn to love the hard things in life, boy, life gets a lot better. Because it's just full of hard things, right? So let me tell you a little bit about Chad. He is a world-renowned speaker and author. He is a multiple business owner. At the age of 27 in 2001, And Chad, I'm just reading from your bio here, so if you don't want me to read what's there, just tell me now.
I don't want you to read what's there.
You don't want? Okay. All right, I'm going to let him.
No, you can do whatever you want. You pick and choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the age of 27, his life changed in an instant when a 2,000-pound bale of hay shattered his neck, leaving him a quadriplegic. But Chad's dreams were not paralyzed that day. He became an example of what is possible. So with that, let's start our week off by learning how we can have a new way to look at adversity in our lives, shall we? Let's give Chad Hymas a big round of applause.
All right. Thank you, guys. You want to do that? I'm really excited to be here. I flew in last night. I'm a native of Utah. I flew in last night. I was on the East Coast speaking, and then I came back for this group. There's a reason why. Out of all the groups that I speak to, my favorite group is youth, for sure. So I'll go back. I'll fly back to Virginia today, and I'll be gone for 2 weeks. And so I'm cool with all that. I just want you to know why I'm here. I'm not here for me. I certainly didn't want to come here for the environment. It just can't even see outside. So I didn't come here to see the smoke. There's no smoke back east. And so as he talked about everything that our world is bombarded with COVID, right? You guys and our youth are going through this, and not just this, the ability to not see friends. That's not an ability, that's a disability. The lack of opportunity to go to spend time with family at Christmas, or to, how about this, see relatives in the hospital because they're sick, they won't even let you in. And so we've never seen anything like this before. It's clouded with smoke. So how do you get your light through that smoke? I love that picture. I love that picture. Let your light shine forth. It's in Matthew. You guys got to remember this stuff. It's in Matthew. It says, let your light shine forth through all that smoke, through all that COVID garbage, that others might see your countenance. I'm just elaborating how I interpret it. See your personality, see your smile, even through that mask. I can see your eyes. You can smell through your eyes. A lot of light comes through the eyes. A lot of light. The other people might see your light and glorify who? Glorify God, not glorify you. Would you agree or disagree with me that you would do things for others you won't do for yourself? Yes or no? So make this week be about somebody else. If you make it about you, you might leave here saying, you know what, some of those sessions were boring. You know what, Mom and Dad, that was kind of a boring week. But if you're here for somebody else, you will do things for others. Christ did. We know that. We know that. How do we know? He had a bad day. He had a day full of smoke. What day was that? What was Christ's bad day? He had two of them actually that are recorded in James. Did anybody know? I'll give you a free copy of my book. All right, what was his bad day? Say it out loud. Wrong answer, but you're getting a copy of the book. Yes, the crucifixion was a bad day, but that's not the day I'm talking about. Say it again. How do you know it was a bad day for Christ? He didn't like this day. He did not like Gethsemane at all. How do we know?
Because he asked the Lord to take his very cup.
Thank you. He asked his dad to say, hey, can I just, I don't know, can we go 85 miles instead of 60 miles an hour? I mean, can we just, this is more than I can bear. And then he said, nevertheless, not. So relate that to your guys' self. This week is not about you, not your will, but everybody else's will. The other bad day was when his brother died, his stepbrother. That was a tough day for him. He lost his brother. It's recorded. Yes, Gethsemane, when he died on sure those were that bad days. Those were obvious days. But you know what's cool about Gethsemane and when his brother died? It makes him relative to who? To all of us. So he's told us that we can get through this smoke that we see outside, all this smog and all this COVID, but we have to do a couple of things. So I'm going to give you a couple key principles, but first I want to make some assumptions. Can I make some assumptions about you guys without you guys thinking I'm judging you? The first assumption I'm going to make is that I think you're all good people. Can we just agree on that? Anybody not a good person? Because the door's right there. Can I make that assumption? Are we all good people?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Or are you trying to be? Can I make that assumption? I'm going to make the assumption that you all want to get an education in one form or another. That doesn't always mean college, but that you want to be educated people. You're teachable people. You don't have too much problem. Make that assumption. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here. I'm going to make the assumption that you want to have a good life. And I'm going to make the assumption that one day y'all want to go to a place they call heaven. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on how to get through all of this that was taught to me by an apostle when I went through this crisis, this pandemic. This was like COVID for me. I know what a pandemic feels like. To lose 95% of your body, that's a crisis. So I just want to share with you what I was taught by an apostle, and I think it'll be applicable to some of the things that you're going through today. Fair enough? So the first thing is this. Remember or write this down. Never forget who gave you what you got. Who gave you everything you have? God did. I know we like to think that mom and dad provided food for us, but the truth is, he decided which family we were going to. So never forget who gave you what you got. Incorrect English, but I just like the way it rhymes. Never forget. Let me tell you, there's a story about this. There's a guy, he's trying to get to a meeting, and he's driving around the parking lot. Listen, stay with me, listen to this. He's driving around, he's trying to find the parking spots so we get to the meeting. The problem is there's no spots available. So he keeps driving around, and he can't find a parking spot, so he finally looks up to heaven and he says this, God, if you will help me find I'll start going to church, I'll stop smoking and drinking, I'll be nicer to my wife and kids, and I'll read my scriptures and I'll pray more. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, what happens? It opens up. And then the guy looks up to heaven and he says this, never mind, God, I found one on my own. So we have a tendency when things are going well in our life to forget it happens throughout the scriptures over and over and over again. They're impoverished, they go through tragedy, they pray to God, ask for forgiveness, and what happens? He has empathy, he pities them, he blesses them with riches, gold, he gets rid of pandemics, he gets rid of crisis, and then they go back into their old. Don't forget who gave you what you got. Don't forget that. There's another way for me. Now let's go to number 2 real quick. Another quick story. Recently, my family told me they wanted to take me to do something that we've never done before. Now, can I just tell you, I have a little hard time thinking about this because I've been traveling pretty extensively for 20 years, 21, and there's not too many places that I haven't been or that I haven't taken my family. I mean, throughout my travels, I've taken the kids to NCAA final games. I've taken the kids to Australia. I've taken them to Asia. I served my mission in Thailand. They've been there. When they told me that they were going to take me somewhere for this last Father's Day that we've never done or never been, it kind of caught me off guard because in my mind we haven't not done everything. So they give me an envelope. I open it up, and it says that we're taking the whole family to Hawaii. Now listen, I know that sounds like fun to most of you. Stupid gift. I'm just saying, I go to Hawaii a lot. So for me, it's just a 6-hour flight. And for Father's Day, the last thing I want to do is what? Thank you. But when you're married, you pretend to be thankful. Side note, just write it down in your notes. Sometimes you have to pretend to be, I'm just telling you that sometimes when you're married, you pretend to be thankful. So what did I do? I pretended because I want to be married to her tomorrow. So I pretended. So we go to the airport. We fly the 6-hour leap across the Pacific to Hawaii. We get to Honolulu, the main island. I get another envelope. It says we're taking another 1.5-hour flight. How do I feel about this? I know, I'm feeling like, no, this is not an ahu-wahoo moment. This is not one of those moments. This is not stand up, be excited. I wouldn't do that anyway, but it's not one of those stand-up moments. So what do? I told you already. I pretend. That's not the message. Don't write that down. It's a good message, but it's not today's message. I pretend. So we go to this other island called Kauai. And this island's kind of cool. I mean, it's not as populated. There's a lot of bungalow houses, but we've been there before. So I'm still not catching their drift, not resonating. We get to Kauai, let's make a long story short. I get my final envelope. That's when I found out what we were doing that we've never done before. They wanted to take me scuba diving. Now you don't have to look at me too hard to understand why I would not appreciate an activity like that. Are we all clear on that? I mean, is it obvious to all of you? I mean, you don't have to look too hard. It's not really a tough guess. I mean, I do swim, but more like a rock. I just go right to the bottom. I have learned it's a lot less crowded down there than is the top. And my family told me that they were going to throw me in the ocean no matter what. They just thought that oxygen would be a nice gesture. So you have to go through all this training before you go scuba diving. So I did all that with my family. It took 6 hours to certify. They teach you about the wetsuit, the mask. It's got to be sealed to your face. The oxygen levels, the tank, and how that works. Oh, the buoyancy compensator vest. All that is a life jacket that's hooked up to a couple of tubes. There's a couple of knobs over the left breast. One knob lets air in the jacket. What happens? It's just common sense, guys. It's called buoyancy. You go up. They let air out of the jacket. What happens? Right. So we're all on the same page there. One more thing they did. One more thing. They put the fins on my. I don't know why they did that. They put the fins on my feet. I don't know why. Oh, but they said that I looked right. So I guess part of you look right before you go scuba diving. The time came, and my 2 older boys, who were return missionaries, just got back. They threw me into the Pacific. No, this wasn't a nice, gentle. They threw me into the Pacific. I remember one of the boys saying, "Dad, you look like shark bait." There was a confidence builder. And I got a picture. I have to show you the picture. Remember the title, Finding Peace in Shark-Infested. Wrong title. I put up that title wrong. There it is. Look. So look. If you look close at the picture, it tells you where my family is in that picture. They're beneath me. I'm at the surface, and I'm very, very content. I'm comfortable because I'm right by the boat, which is a good thing if you can't swim. Okay? And I'm kind of in this position that's kind of flat, laying flat, and I got my arms crossed so I can float. My vest is full. I can see their homes where the fishes live. I can see the fish in the distance. My family is down there within their homes, and they take a picture of me, and I can just tell you, I kind of didn't mind that because I felt very comfortable in that situation. Have any of you ever felt like that before in your life? Comfortable where you're at, going where you're going, and doing what you're doing? For sure, we all have. But we know that's not God's way for his people. My trainer, female, she had a new vision for my circumstance. Has anybody ever had a new vision for yours? Sure. Well, she wanted me, I can tell you, she wanted me to experience what it was like at the bottom of the ocean. That was her vision. So what did she do? She came to the vest. She turned the knob. A bunch of bubbles come out. I start to drop. Here's the problem. With the flippers on my feet were floating more than my head. So I turned upside down and my head hit the bottom of the ocean floor. I mean, fish were looking at me strange. That's how stupid this was. The trainer quickly came to my rescue and she put all the air right back into my jacket. So what happened? Feet first. My feet surfaced at the top. I mean, I swear that my trainer must have been a graduate from the University of Utah. That's how I feel about that. That's my opinion. And if any of you have a problem with that, you're in Brigham Young territory, leave the building now. If you have a problem, you can leave the building. All I'm trying to do is make this Holy Ghost friendly. That's all I'm trying to do. Make the week Holy Ghost friendly. She came and she put all the air back kind of in a neutral position. She got all the weights out of the boat and she put the weights Velcroed around my ankles, hoping it would help me be a more brilliant lady. Graduate. She graduated. She put the weights on my ankles and it worked. So she let all the air back out, and this time I went back down to the bottom. I was at the right angle, up and down, and I landed on a rock. It didn't hurt. I'm numb. I can't feel it. I remember I was kind of in this position, and I just kind of like this. I remember thinking to myself, this has got to be what it's like to live the life of kelp. I mean, it's not real exciting. You see the fish pass by, and then when you die, you go to the top and you go to the ocean, and someone rakes you up and puts you in the ground. That's the life of kelp. It's really kind of a boring life. And my family, they were compassionate. They would come visit me from time to time. And they would take me off of my boulder, my rock, and they would set me on a new rock. I'm pretty sure they were using me as some sort of a GPS marking system. And for those of you that are in this room today, that's number 2. I need you to look at yourselves as markers for those that don't have the gospel, for those that don't understand why COVID exists. And I'm not saying you have to understand it all as well. What you do need to understand is that you don't need to understand. The scripture says, lean not unto thine own. So that's what's cool, is you and I don't have to understand why we have a state full of smoke, why we have the largest wildfire in California burning right now, why we have, you and I, that's not what we've been asked to. You and I don't have to judge. We're not asked to do that. We are asked to do one thing and one thing only. No, I know we have a bunch of sidekick commandments. I get all that. We're commanded to say, oh, I heard it. We're only commanded to love. No matter if you have red hair, red, I'm going to call you red. No matter if you have a Muslim background, black skin, brown skin, a cop, somebody in your family or you that has a different gender preference. Oh no, it's a sensitive topic. You and I are not supposed to not even get close to judging. Yet look what everybody's trying to do. They're trying to make decisions and trying to understand everything. And they place presumptions and judgment on that, and what that caused all of God's children to do. Just fight. You guys got parents? How do your parents feel when the siblings fight? How do parents feel?
They're not too bad.
They're annoyed. He's got to be annoyed. I would be frustrated, for sure. I know how I feel when my kids don't get along. It's disheartening, and it makes me sad because I want my children to be happy. And that's what he's promised us. He's promised us all that he has, everything. And I want my kids to have all that I have. I don't want it for me. That's no fun. But we have to understand the power and not needing to know everything. But we do need to love everything. That is the commandment. Just draw a big heart and draw a big circle around that sucker and try and do your best to love as much as you can. And that candle won't be hidden under a bushel that's got a big, big flame by it. That candle will shine through all that smoke, and you'll make friends this week you never thought you'd make. They'll be lifelong friends. Lifelong friends. Or you can just show up to American Heritage like everybody else does, go through the motions, eat some food, and show up at the meeting. Now you're like everybody else. But God didn't make you to be like everybody else. He made you to be yourself, which takes me to number 3. This one's the toughest for me. This one's hard for me. Stop comparing yourself to other. Sometimes I'll watch a dad playing soccer with his kids. I'll go to my boys' soccer game, or we have 4. The boys are older, there's a gap, and we adopted. I'll go to a soccer game and I'll see a dad playing kickball with his kid. And I'll end up thinking, what? Tell me out. What do I think in my mind? I sure wish I could. Or I'll see somebody walking down with their spouse in Salt Lake, going to a restaurant, holding his wife's. And I'll think, or they'll be at Temple Square. I'll think, man, if I could only do that, maybe our marriage would be. Or if I only, have you guys ever been tempted to think that in your life? Hey, if I only looked like that, or if I only had this, maybe I could really do something with my life. In many cases, that might be, if I only had this much money, maybe I could really. Reality is, some of those thoughts might be true. But when you focus on what you have no control over, let me change that sentence. When I focus on what I don't have, you can see some of what I've lost. I'm miserable, I'm unhappy, I'm unsuccessful, and I'm very unproductive. When I focus on what I do have, and that is the ability to push with numb hands. I can push. I can take care of most of my needs. I'll get to Virginia tonight at about 11:50, and I will find a way to get to that hotel. I travel alone. There's not a nurse that goes with me. I'm 95% numb, and I'm the only person known by Guinness Book that travels the world alone with my levels. I'm not saying that to brag. God didn't make me to be like anybody. The same goes for you. Purple hair or brown, I love it. I'm cool with it. I love it. You don't have to be like everybody. You're not supposed to. So just be the best version of you. So that takes us into number 4. Real quick, number 4. Can I ask you a question? How am I going to get on the plane today at 2:10, 2:15? Remember, I'm not going to stand up and walk on the plane. It's not going to happen. Go ahead. It's the same ramp you use to walk on the plane. It's called a tarmac or a jet bridge. No different. So I'm going to ask a question. I'll be more detailed. How am I going to get to my seat? Because that jet bridge doesn't go all the way into the seat, and those aisles are very, very. I'm just being honest. The tires don't fit in the aisle. The chair does not. I'm just asking. How does Chad Hymas get on that Delta aircraft? What? Crawl? I'm not against that, but let's be real. That works good for a para. I'm a quad. What's the difference? I'm a quad, not a para. What's quad mean? 4. So my arms are completely numb. The only movement you're seeing is shoulders. That's why my fingers are curled. I don't have any biceps. I can't raise my hand in the air from this point. That's the tricep muscle. So I'll show you. Let me show you. So when I raise the hand up, and when she hits gravity, watch. I can do it without hitting myself in the nose. Watch it. No. Sometimes I'll do this just during my day for entertainment purposes. I have no try, so I don't do the arm crawl. But it's not a bad guess. Remember, I'm a quad, not a para.